course. My name is Namir Abdel-Messeih, and I am a film director, French and Egyptian. My parents are Egyptian, but I was born in France, and I made different films. And the last one is called Life After Siham. Siham is the name of my mother, and this is a film that I started after her death to tell this past, the way we go through after the loss. And it's a family story, it's a love story, and it was screened yesterday here in Morocco. It's really a survival act. The day my mother died, my mother was a hero of my previous film because we had made another film together, and we had a lot of fun, and the film was a big success in Egypt and in the world. So we said we will do another film together. And then she got her cancer and she got sick. And the day she died, I felt like I have to maintain that promise to make another film with her, and she was not here anymore. So this weird idea was like a survival act for me, in a way, not to accept that she was gone. That's how it started. I called my cameraman, I said, come on, we must film. He said, no, we cannot film a funeral, it's horrible. And I said, I need it. And then he said, I'm sorry, because I have to leave to America or to Mexico, I don't remember. And then he hangs up the phone, and 1 second later he calls me back. He said, you know what, my plane has been cancelled. I'm sure that your mother has cancelled the plane to ask me to come and film. And this is how it started, with this kind of drama and comedy at the same time of life. That was the first act of filming in that film, and then it took years to find what is the story, what is the film about. I turned the public story into a universal story. This is what I tried to do through that film, and I think we managed to find this balance so that it's not only my story, but it becomes our story, because it talks about our relations with our mothers, fathers, about death, children, transmission, and all that stuff. I have been filming a lot since I was a teenager, my family, so I have a lot of footage about my family, and I have also discovered things about my family that I didn't know. I discovered that my father was working in the cinema. I didn't know about that. I discovered love letters from my parents, and then I discovered that what they were saying in the letter was completely different from the stories they told me. So we have two versions, and then I said, wow, where is the truth? How can I know who was my father and who was my mother? Because the version they told me is very different from the version I read in the letters. So I started to make like an inquiry about who are they, and this is about family secrets, and also how we built ourselves with stories, and we have different versions of the same story. And then when we started to edit all that material, I remembered that my father told me that he was kissing my mother in the Cairo Tower. One day there was an electricity shutdown and it was dark, and so he kissed her hair for the first time. And as he was telling me this story, I remembered the movies that I saw when I was a child, a Youssef Chahine movie with the Cairo Tower with two lovers. And then I said, wow, let's use also these movie images in my film. It was my way to turn my parents into movie heroes, So this is how we mixed all this material to tell that story. I believe that movies are it's open doors. You can enter into movies through different doors. When we have been screening that film, we had reaction very different from different audiences. I didn't believe, for example, that teenagers would connect with that story. And they did, but they connected through a place I didn't think about. My children are in the movie also, and they connected through the grandparents. They saw this film. It was about my mother-in-law, but for them it was about their grandparents. And when they saw that film, it reminded them of their grandfather that is old, their grandmother, and they said, I want to talk with my grandfather, I want to know his story before he dies, I want to say I love you to him. So this was a connection. Other people connected through different ways. Some people connected through the relation with the parents. Some people connected with the relation, as you said, through exile and what is having two cultures and trying to find your place in the world. Some people related through stories, how life is made of different stories, and we try to understand life. And so there are many doors to connect to that film, but mainly I think the main emotion that is through the film is love, tenderness, and it's a film about connection, how we connect with our people. The best thing that I heard about the film is many audience that told me, after seeing your film, I want to call my mother I want to call my father, I want to say to them, I love you, I want to ask my mother about her story, I want to know her more. And even people that their parents were dead, so they didn't have this opportunity, they said, we cried a lot, but it made me feel good. It made me feel as if I still could connect with all the family stories, and that was the most fulfilling thing for me as a director. I'm not sure that it's a film about the past as a film about the present. And I really believe that it's a film about life and about now. And my quest and my discovery is to live the present, to understand now, is how we can look at our past, how we can deal with the past. You know, when you have a trauma, what happens is that the story stays hidden inside of you, and it creates a block, and this block is not in the past, this block is in the present. So how to be okay with the present is to look at the past and maybe to look at it differently, to understand it differently, and to give it another meaning. So really I think it's a film really about the present, but about accepting what the deaths of the people that we love and accepting all that. So of course to do that it took me years, and there were years of suffering, of depression, of desire, a lot of mixed feeling, but there was a very, very difficult period. And also what gave me the strength to go through that is that I am a filmmaker, and I deeply believe that we have to tell our stories, and if we manage to tell them in a good way, these stories will connect to the audience, to their stories. And this is what gave me the strength sometimes to overcome the really painful moments. I wanted to stop 3 or 4 times this film because it was so painful. Hopefully I had a film editor, I had a producer, I had a script writer, and I had a team that believed so much in the film that when I was like going down, they were like, hey, we know it's gonna be a good movie. You know, so alone it would have been really, I think, impossible, because it's not only a personal story, it's a story that concerns everyone. But to do that as a filmmaker, if I was alone, I wouldn't have been strong enough to manage to go through that. The message will be so different because people in France will see it in a way. In France, they see a story that is French, and at the same time they see an Arabic family. They see a family speaking Arabic. And in these periods of big racism, of all what's happening with Gaza, all what's happening all around the world, and the image of the Arabs is being so negative to all people, seeing a story of love, of humanity taking place in an Arab family screened in France and in Europe, it connects the French audience to things that they are not used to see about Arabs. So, you know, the message is different there. In Arab countries, it's different because people say it's our story, we recognize ourselves in that, and they say thank you. Yesterday during the screening, there was a girl that said, thank you, because there's one sentence in the film. My aunt, she's getting old and she's losing memory, and she said, Namir, do you have any medicine to help for memory loss? And I answered to her, my only remedy is my camera. If we film, then we will not forget. And the girl in the audience said, thank you, because this is our medicine. Cameras are our medicine, and we need not to forget our stories. We need to tell our stories. And I really hope that this film will create the desire for us, for the audiences, for the young Arab audiences, to grab the stories, to grab our stories and to bring them to life and to today, and to understand where we come from.